The main tactics today were going to be trolling, or as they say in Brazil, corricando. This is not my preferred method of fishing anywhere in the world, but at this time of year, which is towards the end of summer, it's when a fish called Sororoca arrive, which are Spanish mackerel. In other parts of Brazil where it's warmer year round, Spanish mackerel tend to stay throughout the year, but in the south of Brazil, Spanish mackerel appear on these shores at the end of summer and through winter time. So as this was the beginning of the Spanish mackerel season and they hadn't really arrived in any numbers yet, my father-in-law wanted to do a bit of trolling so we could find the fish, and then perhaps, once we did, see if we could locate any shoals and stay on them.
Finally got a fish. This here is what they call in Brazil a Sororoca, which is a type of mackerel species, a type of pelagic mackerel species. It felt like a monster when it hit like a train, but it's actually quite small. They get a lot bigger than this, up to 5-8 kilos I think. I would not like to know what one of these would go like on tackle that I'm using at the moment, but I'm happy I got my first ever one. See if there's any more out there.
So catching Spanish mackerel was an absolute joy on this very light gear. These are very small Spanish mackerel. They'd get a lot bigger, up to 4 or 5 kilograms. And I'm actually very fortunate I didn't encounter any Spanish mackerel of about that size. Most of all because they would have snapped me off. These things are like mini tunas. But second of all, I don't know if you can see in these images, but these fish actually have pretty large teeth. And with my very light 12-pound fluorocarbon tippet, a bigger fish which would have swallowed the lure would make very, very quick work of my tippet leader. A lot of the locals here actually prefer to use wire traces on the end of their lures. Otherwise they just lose too many of them. Still, for it being start of the Spanish mackerel season, we were lucky to encounter quite a few of them. Over the coming weeks and months, apparently they will arrive in bigger numbers and the bigger ones will arrive. So I might have to rethink my tactics if I'm going to be going back out for these guys, get some beefier gear.